I will not remain silent on this. I don't support this ban. I don't support this message. And it is why I'm speaking out, because I will not just sit here. I don't support the leadership that hides discrimination behind academic language, behind some farce. So I just got home from league, and I've been meaning to make this video all week because I feel like it's been burning a hole in the side of my head. And I just wanted to get some thoughts out because I care about this sport in all phases of its existence. And I feel like something like this. The Olympics have always stood as humanity's greatest experiment in, I believe, unity. The one arena where borders, politics, and identities blur in this kind of a pursuit for this pure human excellence. But when I see policies like this, I feel like it really fractures that ideal. They've reduced participation to biology alone. And when we do that, not just on this stage, but in life, we undermine what the Olympic spirit was created to celebrate. There's this widespread of just misconception being so heavily pushed in not just our personal conversations, but our political ones too, that transgender females hold some kind of advantage in competitive sports. But the data simply just doesn't support that narrative. And now I would have liked to have shown you this data because it exists. They've done several studies and it's been more prevalent over the last 5 years. But for whatever reason, British Journal of Sports Medicine and varying other like government agencies like the APA and the WHO and all are stating that roughly after 2 years of hormone therapy in trans women athletes, their athletic performance was comparable to cisgender women in 21 of 23 measured categories. So in every facet, unless you are an anomaly athletically, this transition gave you no special advantage. I cannot heavily express how transgender participation has never threatened competitive balance. In fact, and I think this is the number of elite transgender athletes is very small. Like, that's the important part. This number is this big. It's the one of one. Just like anything else, anybody else comes out in any sport and is just part of the one of one category. An Air Force study was done in 2020 that showed after 12 months of HRT, trans women ran slower and fell in line with cis female military standards. So I attempted a few others that were supposed to be unbiased and reliable forms of information, but were just websites shut down 404 because the reality is they don't want the information available to me, to you, to anybody, because the narrative that they're pushing is false. It doesn't exist. It doesn't make real sense. There's no real science behind it. There's their science behind it. But the general public isn't allowed to scrutinize that science. We're not allowed to examine that science. We're not allowed to put that science they say is absolute under a microscope. And how can you say that it's science and then hide the data, real numbers, to put on a face so that anybody, me, you, them, can state that this is what it is? But again, sadly, these government entities, these organizations that are supposed to be unbiased and just provide us with science, won't allow their information to just be accessible to the general public. Instead, we have to continue to do this, speaking out about what policies are being pushed for what crap reasons. There are people who have trained since their childhood, who have sacrificed and dedicated their lives to their craft. Their identity invalidates that effort? I will not believe that. And on this stage, the Olympics were meant to be... The Olympics were meant to remind us what we share with one another, even though we're so vastly different in our cultures and our ethnic backgrounds. But we share this space. We share to celebrate the power of will, the power of identity, the triumph of self-discipline over a circumstance, or of resilience to a limitation, the environment, overcoming an environmental struggle, a challenge that others called impossible. And this band betrays all of that. It takes away. You now have to choose between your identity and your aspirations. Because on the stage like this, you can't have both. As an athlete and as someone building a community rooted in access, fairness, and humanity, I will not remain silent on this. I don't support this band. I don't support this message. And it is why I'm speaking out, because I will not just sit here. I don't support the leadership that hides discrimination behind academic language, behind some farce, some personal opinion, or cultural belief. Our current politicians do enough of that crap, and I will not have that if I had anything to say about it on this stage. This is a solemn... This stage is supposed to be sacred. Fairness does not require erasing people. It requires you to protect them, because there are people who are born without privilege, and privilege, you should be sharing your privilege. Banning an entire group from competition? In the Olympics, most of all, should bring us together, not push people apart and out and feel discriminated against. And my hope is that enough voices like mine, somebody you have no idea, somebody who is just a cog in this sport, and somebody who is an athlete who wants to be on the Olympic stage, who dedicates their life to the opportunity that one day I might be given that chance. And somehow it feels like, even though I don't even fall in this unfortunate category of policy making, even though this is terrible policy making, and I think that the International Olympics Committee is that the International Olympic Committee's new president, Christy Coventry, rethinks this decision, this personal point of view that I feel like is being projected onto the biggest sports stage in the world. I think there's way too much work to be done. I'm going to talk more about this later. I'm not going to shut up about this. I don't care how small the voice that I have is. I have over 4,000 subscribers on this app, and I'm hoping that the algorithm resonates with the message, because it's important. This is so important. This is beyond sports. This rooted in evil is far beyond sports. This we are seeing this in the political arena. Lawmakers and the community, the LGBTQIA plus community, has dealt with this its entire existence, and it's just fluctuated in capacity. It's been this big, it's been this big, it's been I could not handle being constantly, like, I don't know how they have such a positive attitude within their community. They're so kind and they're so pleasant to be around. And the fact that all they want to do is just compete. Yeah. I hope you guys are doing good in league. I hope you guys are having a great week, getting the real practice in. Make sure you stay on top of your weight training too, because that stuff is important. If you're not healthy, if you're not active, if you're not, like, you can, practice, you need practice, but in my opinion, you need that weight training more. You need that constant repetition of building muscle a little bit more, I think, than the practice at the lane. So make sure you guys are getting that in. I've been slacking on mine lately. All right. Love you guys.